Good afternoon. My name is Amanda Rivera. I'm the hearing examiner presiding over today's case. The date is August 8th, 2024, and this is case VAR 2024-00002. It is a request for a setback variance in the North Fort Myers planning community. Because it is a quasi-judicial case, all evidence and testimony must be taken under oath. So if you intend to speak, if you could please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll provide is the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. We do not have members of the public here today, so I'll dispense with the instructions that we usually go through, and I'm ready to begin whenever the applicant is ready.
Ma'am?
Yes.
I have submitted the affidavit of publication on your desk. Is anything needed?
Okay, let me accept that. Is that what this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this will be Staff Exhibit 2. Staff Exhibit 1 was the staff report, and this is simply the publication of notice.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, now we can begin with the applicant.
This hearing is on Mark Ebellini on behalf of Norberto Menina, and this is our case requesting a variance. I will state parenthetically, if I would, that we did have an affidavit of posting of the variance sign as well, which has been provided to the county in the county file.
Okay, thank you.
This is a variance from section 34-695 that requires a 20-foot rear setback in the RS1 zone to 10 feet 5.5 inches to allow the applicant to construct a 587 square foot addition to an existing 1,172 square foot home on the subject property. And it was replacing, it'll be in the footprint for the most part of an existing enclosed porch and screen porch. And this house was, as I've stated in the narrative, was, we begin with the property in 1964, and I submitted these, and I'd like to provide them in the order which I'll present them. But it was a 1964 plat of Suburban Park Unit 4, which originally, as Mr. Blackwell pointed out, and I have provided these to him, showed a cul-de-sac at this location. Although right now it's it's more of a through road as well. Maybe an eyebrow would be the proper reference. So that's our Exhibit 1. So 1964. Then we go to 1968, when the house, the existing 1,172 square foot house, was constructed on the property. And it's an interesting house in the way in which it is laid out. First of all, we have a rather odd parcel with angular protrusions where the land is in a corner, which really not really accessible. And then the decision was made 50 years ago to go ahead and construct the home in a manner that really left no setback to the rear for 20 feet. Usually you see houses that are built on cul-de-sacs, they're oriented straight to the street, not towards the other house. So it's an odd choice, but at that time maybe there was older communities, they didn't expect there to be any addition in the future. So basically what the request is to add a 13 more or less foot wide addition to the house, rather than and basically tearing down the old pan-roofed enclosure and replace that with a true addition to the house, which would take out the sliding glass doors to the area, adding a bedroom and a bath. Mr. Norberto Menina and his wife Lourdes own this property, and they reside there with one child and Mrs. Lourdes' mother.
Yep.
So, with a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, so adding the 3 and 2 would make a reasonable, and it's not of course it's rather a minimal addition and limited to the footprint of the existing lanai, and it's not really too atypical to the neighboring house to the east as well. The Meninas bought this property in 2005, and it's a bit of a mystery about that porch, but I think it's really beyond the pale here. But because it will be removed and replaced. And I have for that, those statements, a copy of the GeoView map, a copy of the site plan, and a copy of the warranty deed, respectively, regarding the ownership and regarding the site plan that we're requesting. And if we could just do those 1, 2, 3, and 4 in any order that is preferred.
Okay. Give me one moment to
Sure.
accept these. While we're doing that, Peter, can you please bring up an aerial of the site so we can see that? So I'm correct that the aerial is to be applicant exhibit 2?
Yes.
Actually, I can get a better aerial.
And the site plan would be applicant exhibit 3? And the deed is applicant exhibit 4. Okay,
Let me-
thank you.
It's all yellow.
Gotta get the, there we go.
Thank you. And it's the home that's shown as 674?
Yes, ma'am, this
Thank you.
blue dot here.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So we believe that both the home and the lot create these exceptional conditions, which, once again, what we're doing, of course, is, we're replacing, what was, if it was approved, it was a porch, and we're replacing it with an addition within the footprint of what's existing, and you can see the neighboring property to the east. This is, and a fully enclosed fenced yard of the Menina property. We believe that the exceptional conditions are not a result of Mr. Menina, and I think that's evident as well. The variance requested is once again minimized by the width of the requested structure. We don't think the granting of this would be injurious to the neighborhood, and in fact, there's consistency with the LEAP plan, which talks about, and the North Fort Myers Community Plan, which talks about revitalizing and investing in older neighborhoods. And this really falls well within that. It was North Fort Myers Community Plan Goal 30 and Policy 30.1.2, which seeks to expand programs to, quote, to help maintain, repair, and improve existing owner-occupied housing. And so the variance is consistent with the LEAP plan, and so we think that it's appropriate here and wish to proceed. Now, I'll just parenthetically state that there was a request for a permit on this property, which is when this arose, when they realized, they had the plans done. They submitted the application in October of 2023 when this issue arose at the building department level. And so that building permit remains, waiting for applicant, and that's for this process. I don't know if Mr. Menina, you have anything else to add regarding this request?
No, and the only thing that I need to, just for the fact that it's, like what we mentioned, revitalizing the neighborhood, it adds value to the neighborhood also. It's part of neighborhood beautification, and I'm not asking anything that it's not there. It's already there. The changing really for me is when Hurricane Ian came, and I saw what this part of the house is doing, and I was so fortunate and happy that it didn't fly out of the foundation that we had it. And again, my wife was at that time really nervous about the whole thing, and that's why she said, can we do something about that? It's not safe for anybody, because when you have penetration like that, if that one flies, now you're gonna have penetration in the house. The whole house can be damaged just because you'll have, wind going into the roof. So that's what made us, even living in that house for almost 20 years now, what made us really decide to move on and make that structure stronger and make that structure usable for what we have and what we need.
Yeah, the roof will be integrated as part of the roof of the house itself. So, there was no question that 341176, requires this to have the 20-foot setback.
So is the existing structure now, it's roofed currently, but it's going to be demolished, but the footprint will remain, and you'll essentially just enclose and bring
So,
up to code?
Yeah, that existing structure right now is under slab. So we're gonna build it up, so, because again, any backyard accumulates water also. So we're gonna build it up to the level of the house, because that's an add-on. So it's a little lower by probably 3 or 4 inches lower than the existing floor. So we're gonna build it up and then not go past the existing slab is the plan that we had.
So whatever effects there may be are already existing, it sounds like, from the footprint
Yeah.
of it itself. And can you just tell me, just for educational purposes, on the site plan, what is in the rear of the lot in terms of site constraints? You've got a lot working in this odd configuration that you have. Is it a shed?
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's a shed and then another shed back there.
Just to the point that you're very limited in where you could potentially go. It's not as if you could simply move it to a different
Yeah,
location.
there's no, when we put the 20-foot lot line on the property, it pretty much precluded anything back there. So that's where the 20-foot setback, there's no way to do it. And that, as you said, that shows the existing pan roof structure, which, I guess there's some left after Ian and Irma.
Much. Is it a shed on the left-hand side there as well, on the western property?
It's just a grill area that we use. It's just a 4x4 and then with a little roof in there, nothing.
It is a very constrained site. As you said, it's very unusual to see the orientation that you're working with here, which creates a very small building envelope for you. So, okay, thank you. You answered the questions as I had them as we went through, so that was the extent of what I had for the applicant. Is staff ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning. For the record, Peter Blackwell with the Lee County Zoning Section. VAR 2024-00002 is the subject today. The staff finds that the applicant's presentation was correct and comprehensive and agrees with everything that was said in it. Staff will limit its presentation then to simply addressing the criteria for a variance approval.
Just for housekeeping, you did provide me a copy of the presentation here, so I've labeled that as Staff Exhibit 3.
I bet. I need to click on it here so that it's active up there. Yeah. The criteria, the first criteria is the property has an inherent exceptional condition. It does. The layout of the lot and the location of the house on it, as stated by the applicant. All of these conditions existed prior to the applicant purchasing the property, so he has not caused this issue. This is the minimum possible variance. They will not be expanding the footprint of the residence. There was no abutting vacant land that the applicant could use to come into conformance, which forces them to have to use this process in order to address the situation.
Can you go back? I'm sorry, you went by that one quickly. So the piece of information I didn't have before was that the lanai, I think you said, was constructed in what year?
It goes back at least to 1998.
Okay, but predating when the applicant acquired the
Yes,
property
ma'am.
in 2005. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Unfortunately, the property appraiser didn't have a date for it, so I was using the aerial photographs.
Okay. Thank you.
So, now for the, no, I went backwards, my mistake. It is not considered injurious to the neighborhood, A, because the property is already, the existing lanai has been there since '98 at least, has not been a problem for the neighborhood. This would not create anything larger. It's a typical feature of neighborhoods, and as such, the variance is legitimizing an existing condition. As far as conformance to the Lee plan is not really a significant factor in this case. The suburban future land use category is the one relevant issue, and this is a typical request within a residential neighborhood as found within these categories. So therefore, due to these, meeting these 5 criteria for variance, staff recommends approval of the requested relief for a rear setback from 20 feet to 10 feet, 5.5 inches. If you have any questions, I'm ready.
Just in terms of housekeeping, so the only legal description that I had in here was the plat itself. Was there a separate legal description that you wanted to enter into the record?
I can supply one if you want to keep the record open.
Okay, yes, we
No.
need to do that, just so we've got,
Okay. Normally, platted subdivisions are considered sufficient legal access or legal descriptions.
they are, just typically because they're final with this office, there isn't the opportunity to append anything post this, so we typically have both, just for kind of good measure. But I mean, that sounds like something you could get me still today, probably before end of business. Would that be correct electronically?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll accept that. And then prior to the hearing, you also provided the community meeting requirements as well.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. We did go to the Fort Myers, the North Fort Myers Community Meeting, and Wayne Daltrey and his folks were there, and they had no comments other than, looks fine to us. And there was a room full of folks. None of them were here to see us. They were about Pine Lakes, and so I was there, and so this way, we had a significant amount of the North Fort Myers community there, but they didn't really care about what we were doing.
Thank you.
Right, and those were provided by staff in the 48-hour.
Yes, so those are part of the record incorporated as the applicant's 48-hour letter. I should have said is pre-labeled as applicant exhibit A. That's why the numeration still worked, and the staff is the 48-hour letter was also staff A. So I've got that. Okay, thank you. Well, it's a very straightforward case. I understand the time constraints that you're under with the building permit, so I will certainly get this out as quickly as I possibly can. And it's, again, you've answered my questions as I went through, so I appreciate the thoroughness of it. And thank you for everything you've done up to this point. Thank you. We can conclude for today. Thank you.
Thank you.